Hello guys, welcome to a new Planet MRS video, and today we have some more work to do on the Corolla, and this video is going to be an important fix that I have been dying to do for a long time. So let's have a look under the hood and I can show you what the problem is. As you can see, we have some radiator problems. This radiator is not the one that came with the car. The one that came with the car broke right at the stage of getting it all finished up for the car inspection. But this is also still a used old one. So as you can see, even though it doesn't have any big leaks, I painted this perfectly black. But you can see the paint is chipping off and there's the red coolant like coming through the plastic. Since it's just so old and yeah, doesn't hold up anymore to the pressure and the heat and whatever it is. So we're gonna replace this radiator, firstly to I don't always have to replace my refill my coolant bottle. We're gonna replace this, and then a second thing that I don't really like about the car is this clutch fan, or however you want to call it. If you drive this car on the street and you get into stop and go traffic, the aircon heats up, like it doesn't cool as efficient anymore. This is because I have the aircon here, but as you can see there's no extra aircon fan, and this is for two reasons. Firstly, obviously this fan only spins at maximum the car's RPM. So if you're just sitting idling, this spins at maximum like 1000 roughly RPM, as compared to when you're driving and it draws a lot of more air. Additionally, you don't have any airflow from the front, so you're only relying on the fan. And then, additionally, you have a huge gap in between the radiator and the aircon cooler. Maybe, I'm not sure if the camera is gonna pick it up, maybe not. Yeah, and there you can see it's quite a gap. So there's the fan can suck in air from up here, from down through these sides, and not efficiently pull air through this cooler. So this is all stuff we're gonna fix, and for that we have one box of small parts, which is like a temperature sensor adapter, as well as a whole electric fan kit. We're gonna need this for our beautiful Spawon performance radiator. For that, big thanks to Spawon for sending this one out. So this is a sponsored product here, and if you are interested, we decided that, if all the install goes well, this will be together with some accessories, maybe even like a plug and play kit, because you need to wire up the fans and you need some kind of fan controller if you decide to get the fan shroud as well. You can also run this with the factory fan shroud, but of course you want the electric fans at least. For me, there's like a big selling point of this radiator that it comes with, or you can choose that it comes with the matching electric fans. So if you're interested, this will be available through Roadstars Automotive. So if you want, hit up the link, then you can have a look at it. And for us, we're gonna just put this thing in and yeah, see how it works, and let's get this 86 nice and cool. What we're gonna do is firstly drain the coolant. There is a drain plug at the bottom under the car, so we're gonna drain all the coolant in there. I might need to jack up the car to get my little box under there so we can catch the coolant and then reuse it. And then we're gonna disconnect the hoses. Our adapter is gonna go right here, and yeah, get all this off, get the old fan off, and then remove the radiator. Let's go. Okay, what I'm gonna try to do first is remove the old fan and the fan shroud, because the drain plug, as you can see, I put my bucket under here already, but the drain plug is quite hard to turn, and it's easier if this comes off. So there's 4 10mm holding the whole pulley in, where also the fan is mounted to, so we need to take these 4 off, and then we need to bolt them back in. Let me show you. can take these 4 bolts nuts off, but you need to watch out when you put them back on without the fan. The studs won't allow you to like fully tighten this pulley, because these four nuts, they hold in the pulley onto the water pump, because this is a water pump pulley. So we want to take this off, take off the fan, but then we need to find some kind of solution. Either put some how do you say, some spacers in between here, or find some different nuts, because these won't go on all the way. So yeah, let's get them off first. Yeah, in general, also be careful if you, especially if you want to keep your radiator, just for some reason remove the fan shroud or the fan. Be very careful that you don't damage the actual core when you try to take off the fan. Just like that. Cool. And that's the old fan off. Very nice. And as you can see, this pulley is moving here, and you're probably not going to be able to see, but these threads on here, they don't go all the way to the back. So if you try to tighten these nuts, then yeah, you're gonna get into trouble, and you're gonna tighten the nuts onto the studs, and if you try to remove them, you actually end up removing the studs themselves from the water pump, and that's not what you want. So I think just for the sake of it not falling down, I'll try to get this situated here and just put one nut on loosely so we don't lose. We lost the nut instead. We don't lose the pulley. So we're just gonna put one on, or like maybe even put 2 on there, just so the pulley doesn't fall off. You could also take it off if you want, but I think for me it's gonna be easier just to leave it on. And then we're gonna think about the spacer situation later when we try to put this back on fully. Okay, now that we got that situated, next is gonna be these 2 up here. These 2 up here is gonna allow us, let me see if there's some more. No, I think it's just set on there. As you can see, it's also loose. If we take up these 2 top 10s, should be able to slide out the fan shroud as well. And if you're wondering, this is the bracket for the factory intake pipe, so if you don't need it, you can also remove it. I think I'm gonna put it back in at the end because I have a nice idea with the factory intake pipe as well, even though I'm not using the factory intake. And now let's try to get this out. There we go, factory shroud off. And now we can have a look at the little drain plug down here. Now you can see it pretty well. Let me see. Okay, right down there is this little drain plug that I was talking about. As you can see here, down there, the camera's gonna focus. And since we put our bucket under there already, it should neatly drain out the bottom. Might need to use some pliers to get that open because they're really on there. Even though it's a plastic, a plastic screw, plastic drain plug, still can get pretty tight. Okay, we got our water flowing into our bucket, but of course the system is still like under a vacuum now, so if we open the top, flow should start neatly draining out of there into our bucket. So that's gonna take a while. It's just, we need to wait for that, because I don't want to take off this radiator hose and then like lose all the fluid from up here. So I want this to be as empty as possible before we try to loosen these 2 hoses. There's still probably going to be some water coming out of there, which is okay, but yeah, we want to try to keep it as clean as possible, not to make a mess. Okay, while that's drying, draining, let's carefully gonna try to remove this hose already so we don't suck up any coolant through here. And we're gonna now try to carefully take off this radiator hose. Okay, nice. That's off, because this one is the one we're going to be modifying, because in there goes this neat adapter and give our radiator fans their temperature signal, and also like another if we need temperature gauge. Okay, as you can see, got the nice washer here. And then we can tighten these bolts back up with the washer in between, so we don't risk of stripping anything. So make sure to not over tighten them, because you know you can strip them easily. Rather, what I like to do is mark them with a pen, because then you're gonna know, you can check a bit later, did they move or did they not move, and then you know you're not over tightening them, and then it's all good. Just try to loosen these. I think these should be 14s, because then we can, you know, move the radiator a little bit to drain all the last bit out. So you can see this is just like how the radiator is kept in. It's like stuck into two bushings on the bottom and then clamped on the top, and our new radiator is going to be exactly the same. So I'll try pulling it out of these, tilting it slightly to this side so all the raw water can run to the drain and properly drain out. And then disconnect the bottom hose, try not to make a mess, and get this radiator out, and then I can show you what's in this nice Spawon performance box over there. And we can compare the two a little bit, because I can tell you it's a world's difference. Like if you see how like, let me just show you in a bit. Most of the water drained out. Let's try to open this bottom radiator hose and remove it. Okay, just a tiny bit spilled out. It went pretty well. Let's see if we can keep this hose up here. Then let's try to close the drain. Necessary, let's do it anyway, so we'll try to pull this out. There we are. Now to get a good comparison, let me show you. This is the original radiator. As you can see, it's like very thin, maybe like one finger thickness. And as you can see, it's very bad here. Like all the water spilling out. You can see it on the engine, everything got kind of red from all the coolant. You've got your hooks here for the factory bracket, and then the two bolts up here for the shroud, you know. But let me show you what's in this beautiful box up here. Ta-da! Doesn't that look massive? And it's also beautifully packed, of course. So let's get the paperwork out of the way and get this beauty out of here. Here we are. This is massive. Look at this. Beautiful aluminium radiator with the fans on the back, two electric fans which we're gonna wire up. We have the exact same inlet and outlet. As you can see, let's put them next to each other. Set them down like that. And as you can also see, you have the same top mounting locations, the same brackets on the bottom, same position for the drain. And if you compare the thickness of this is at least, okay, let's turn it around the same way. The full Spawon logo. Let's set this next to here. This is crazy. This is literally crazy. As you can see, this with the fan shroud. Let's put the next to this on. I'm not sure, this one might be a tad thicker. No, actually not. This here is about the same height as this. You can see how much more compact these electric fans are. And yeah, apart from that, that's what we're working with. Beautiful. And you can see, you know, just a difference in how crusty old everything is. And we got the same connection also for the overflow. For these, we're gonna make some plugs, which then match up with our fan controller. So, because obviously the 86, at least my 86, doesn't have an electric fan controller or nowhere to connect these. So we're gonna put a nice factory style plug on here. Yeah, let's just start by putting this thing in. Yeah, we'll need to find a way. I think what we're gonna do, because this radiator is massive, and you can see the stock radiator like has a bit more room here to run this wiring. Okay, then we're just gonna run the wiring up here. There. Okay, get all the way into the bushings. And then, as you can see, this fits really well. I'm thinking, because it's coming very close to this edge here, and for my car this is all dinged up in weird shapes. You can see it's like bent here. I will try to put like a rubber strip here that I don't risk of like damaging the radiator. So I'll do that, and then we can get it bolted in. We'll look a bit nicer too, and keep the radiator nice and safe, because it's all pretty tight in here. It's the main front wiring loom. Let's get one of the brackets and see how they fit. Yeah, it needs to be quite close. Close up here, so we need to see what we do with the in terms of wiring. Okay, actually it's a lot easier, of course, to install the radiator with the fan shroud detached, so I thought I'll just take it off and show you. It's really beautifully crafted, obviously with the seals on the side, so everything's sealed really well. These fans are going to keep the engine nice and cool, and then we can put on the lower radiator hose, which is just gonna be going on with these clamps, just like that. And for the top radiator hose, we are gonna cut it and put our adapter in between. So I'm gonna try to put it on first, since it's gonna be a bit long anyway, since this radiator is so thick, so we, you know, the hose can be shortened a bit. As you can see, it might be a bit long in the factory location, or factory length. We try to set it on here. Yeah, as you can see, it's a bit long, so we'll need to try to push it on here all the way. Let's see how close we can get it. I'm gonna findangle with this one a bit, and then get this cut out and get our adapter put in there. This is what we're gonna use. This sensor is gonna be for the fans, and this blue and white one is gonna be separate for another, yeah, if we wanna have a gauge in the car. So we're gonna put this in between here, and yeah, probably gonna have the cables, I'm sure, run this way or run down, but maybe this way is easier, then it can come around here. Yeah, let's do that. Sadly my camera turned off, so I think I'm gonna just try to get this sorted out and show you once I'm done with it. Okay, as you can see, We've got it all plumbed up. This is in here very nicely. In the future, I'm going to replace these radiator hoses, the lower one as well, because there's still one part left over, which just didn't change. We can now connect the top hose, connect this one will stay unused for now, so we'll just zip tie him somewhere here. This one will go to the controller, as well as these fan wires. They will also end up somewhere here. Very nicely insulated cables, which will get with terminals already attached, so they will get some plugs on them, and they will go over here, and then somewhere in this location, probably maybe over here, I will put the relay box, which is going to control the two fans, and then I'm very excited to see them work. So let's get it installed. And the other nice part, we're also going to reinstall this bracket, which is, since this is a pretty much a replica of the stock radiator in terms of fitment, this will attach to the same locations as before. And we're even going to put it in between here, just like that. That fits really nice. That fits really nice. Of course, this might be in a slightly different location since the radiator is just so much thicker, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it's probably gonna be sitting a bit further in, but the cool part about this radiator is also that you can either get only the radiator and keep your stock fan shroud if you want, since the style is the same, or you can get the full combo, or you can also get only the fan shroud if you'd like to keep your stock radiator, especially if you live in a country with slightly colder temperatures. This radiator will be way overkill, but since here in Japan we can get to 37 degrees Celsius, like in the summer, it's like something around that, something a bit warmer and something a bit colder. This is gonna be like adequate for this kind of weather. But if you're not, you can also just only use the electric fans and get the benefits from them. So yeah, but I'm gonna go with the combo. Everything's nice and secure. We're gonna need to figure out something for the wiring. For now, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna print a spacer for these brackets to sit on, so we should be able to route these cables like in the stock way, like in between here, and we shouldn't have any problems. And then yeah, gonna ready to do our wiring. Let me show you actually what we got. We got this here. This is a basic relay box basically with a temperature controller built in. So this has like a little display where you can set your temperature through this button here. And then you have three wires. One is coming from the battery, or like, yeah, directly from the battery probably. And then one goes to each, like positive for each fan, also with a nice relay with a nice fuse in between. And then these four wires, actually let me do it like that. These four wires, one is gonna get the connector for the temperature sensor. The black one's gonna be ground, the yellow one's gonna be ignition. So you're gonna just hook this up to your ignition, so this box gets powered up when you turn on your car. And then the green one is the wire which goes to the aircon signal. So if you have your aircon on, one of the fans will turn on automatically to keep your aircon working, which I need to figure out where to connect this. Yeah, these two, the ground and the positive, are gonna run inside the car, because I have a little fuse box there which has like a ground and engine like ignition. These two are gonna run to the fans obviously, or this, yeah, and this is gonna run to the battery right above it, because I'm thinking about putting it somewhere down here. It's a bit tight. Might need to find a better place to mount it. Maybe even up front here, there would be nice and accessible, because in here it's still all quite full of stuff already, so I'm kind of not too keen. Maybe Let me see. Like that. In here, nice and neat. All the space we can run. We could run the wires to the fans, like here. These are all like high power, nice, high power cables already. So I would be happy. Oh, maybe that will be long enough. That would be nice, because I couldn't get the exact thickness of wire at the store, so I don't want to run a thinner wire to these fans. So let's see what we can do. And what we're going to use for the terminals of the fans, since they're already equipped with these kind of, oh, it's maybe a bit hard to see in the dark and the camera not focusing, these kind of connectors. We're going to use these factory style connectors. Super cool. You can just buy them in the hardware store. It's not really focusing, is it? These are like the exact same kind of style that the car normally uses, which is kind of nice. Keep it a bit, you know, OEM spec. So we're going to use these. Put one on the cables that come from the fans, and then the other one, yeah, on the new cables. Yeah, as you can see, these come out with these plugs here, and we're gonna put them in these connectors. Let me see how I connect them. Connect the blue on the top. I'm gonna do the same, and these literally just push in here, just like they're meant to be. It's very satisfying. Just like that. And we got our factory style connector, just like this one over here. Super nice. So yeah, these are ready to go. We need to make sure that we keep them away from all the belts, so probably zip tie them to the fans themselves. Maybe even run this one, you know, unbolt this again and run this behind this here, just so we're all, you know, clear with that. And yeah, let's try to get that sorted out. Okay, now we're just gonna top up the rest of the coolant. I filled the coolant from that we took out in already. I'm just using some like easy premix coolant, like red type. I did some research when I did that. I changed it previously. It originally had green coolant in it, but as far as I know, you can also use red. So if I'm wrong and I shouldn't use red, please let me know. But as far as I know, red is fine as long as you flush out the whole system and you don't mix these, because that's what you not want to do. But let's fill that up rest of the way. Okay, this is pretty crazy for me. This was maybe another, how full was that? At least 500 milliliters to maybe close to a liter that was still in here. It took all of that, and it's going to take some more, so I'll need to get some more coolant. That just shows you how much bigger this radiator is, and also that not just the cooling performance of the radiator is going to greatly improve, but also the amount of water that you have in your car. So the water that goes through the system from getting into the radiator, getting cooled down, going out the bottom, and then back through the engine until it comes back out, it's gonna, you know, it's take a lot longer, and thus, you know, giving the engine more capacity, more cooling, more coolant to get rid of all that heat. So yeah, this is why these radiators are a big upgrade. Okay guys, there you have it. The radiator is installed, all done, fans are in, everything is connected. I didn't film the whole process of wiring in this temperature controller because it was a bit tedious trying to figure out where to run everything, but I'm gonna give you a little rundown. So if you want to install it like that, it's gonna be pretty easy for you. You have 3 cables coming from this controller, 2 going to the fans. I ran these through here, through a little, of course, some shielding, some wire shielding. One runs to the cable here, to the fan, and the other one runs along here, has a factory style connector, which I use as factory pins that came on the Spawon radiators. So like these plugs just work with the pins that came on here, so that's very convenient. So this runs here. I got these zip tied out of the way neatly so they don't catch in the belts or anything. And you get them run around here. Then you need grounds as well. So out here come the grounds. You can see it here. There is the orange is the power and the black is the ground. So the grounds run all around here through this shielding. And I made a new grounding point like earth in the front here. And then you have 2 cables which are black and yellow. These are for just ground for the controller and power for the controller. So I ran the yellow wire to my fuse block inside the car, which I put in, but you can hook that up to any switched power you have. So you can hook that up to also somewhere in the fuse box if you would like. And then this green cable is what turns the fans on and off depending on if you use the aircon or not, because that's something which I didn't have before. If you were just idling the car, like I said in the beginning, the clutch fan would just spin very slowly and not draw enough air for the aircon. So if you connect this green wire and give it power, just 12-volt power, then it will automatically turn on the fans and make sure your aircon stays cool as well. So I got this cable ran all the way around here. I needed to lengthen it, so it's became a yellow wire, don't be confused. This yellow wire runs all the way around here, and then I made a little T-piece. This is the chassis connector for the aircon solenoid. This is one I built myself, but this would be normally your normal looking aircon solenoid. I plug it in between here, took power from there, so whenever the aircon turns on, it's gonna send power to the controller, and the controller is gonna turn on the fans. So this is working really well. I've tested that. You can see we have the temperature sensor running around here through this plug, running all around here, and then also coming back to this wiring doesn't look that pretty yet. Yes, you know that. I will clean that up still, but I have some more wiring to clean up anyways. But yeah, and then the main power, it just goes directly to the battery for the fans, so that also runs through here. And yeah, that's basically the wiring all done. One thing I needed to do for this radiator, because it's just so big, which is really good, because like in Japanese heat, like summer, it can get really hot, and this is pretty big, so the harness normally runs through here. But since I'm not sure if my car is a bit crooked or not from the front damage it had, but I couldn't run the harness which normally runs under the core support. I needed to run it above. So what I did is I designed some new brackets, and these brackets now allow the harness to run up here and still keep the radiator nice and secure. You can rock the whole car on it and nothing's happening, so that's really nice. And yeah, that concludes the installation. I'm really happy with this radiator. At first I thought it might be even a bit too big, but there is not too big. So if your how do you call it, your thermostat is working correctly, it should keep your engine always at the temperature you desired. So I can set this controller freely to activate at whatever temperature I like. Let's go and turn it on actually. Yeah, if we turn on the ignition, you can hear the fans coming on already because the aircon is on in the car. That's why the fans immediately start drawing air. And you can see we have 30 degrees of water temperature at the moment. You can also switch that to Fahrenheit if you want. And then just by a press of the button, you can see I currently set it to 85 degrees. You can set it to whatever temperature you want, up to I think 110. Yeah, and then from 40 degrees. I set it to 85 for now just to see how it does. And that has been pretty reliable for me. So yeah, you can see, you hear the fans running. And yeah, they're blowing quite a bit of air, and you can even feel it in the front that they are drawing air through the aircon cooler very well. So let's turn it off so I'm not draining my battery. But yeah, this is working really well, and you can see, maybe you can hear it, that when I turn off the aircon, the fans inside or outside also stop running. So that's the whole point of connecting it to your aircon. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. It stays at the temperature you set on your fan controller perfectly. So for example, if you get this kind of radiator for a different car and you have a factory fan controller or a factory fan setup, it should keep your car perfectly at whatever temperature you desire. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. Finish is really nice, and it should yeah, it stopped my leaks that I had before, and it just makes the engine bay look so much cooler as well. And it's gonna make sure that if I do some more hard driving with this car, that it's gonna be, yeah, engine or water temperature, something I really don't need to worry about at all. So this gives me a very good peace of mind. And yeah, I would say thank you for watching. Big thank you to Spawon for sponsoring this radiator for me to test out. If you are interested, I'm gonna put some links in the description where you can get one for yourself. And yeah, I can just recommend it if everything works out. You can also get these at Roadstars Automotive together with all the brackets and this fan controller. And yeah, I would say thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video. Bye bye.